We have a very strong intention of taking it from 14 all the way to number one, building it out from this part of the world, and continue to be an Indian company which goes out and becomes a world dominant player, because we have no questions in our mind that the next decade belongs to this country. So I felt I'll break the discussion into two separate parts. Very briefly, I will talk about what we are building as a company. And the second thing that we're going to do is talk about specifically about growth and a few items around it as to what does it take to be growth ready, and when you're growing, what are the things to watch out for. I think we're still in the trenches of growing our organization, so maybe I can share even more deeper learnings a few years from now, but I think I can also share while being in the trenches, what are the things I'm learning at this point of time. I felt it would be an interesting idea for me to just narrate the stories that I have gone through. Considering I'm here, I would imagine that those stories will lead a lot of you to make those outcomes yourself. And if there are any questions, I'll of course go through them. But these are just plain stories. None of this have any management gyan. These are real stuff that happened at our offices, and people, some of your friends, alum, etc., who are at our office, and you would have spoken to them, would have told you similar stories. But that's all I'm going to talk about today. So we want to make sure that we very honestly talk of ourselves as an urban innovator. And why so? Because of four major reasons. I'll talk about these four things. The first one is we are fundamental engineers. We mean engineering from a perspective that can be so many different ways. So think about every problem that I'm going to talk about, how engineering has a solution for it. Properties are shabby, they're bad when you look at it. How do you change that? You change it by ensuring in the lowest cost, how can you make these properties look great, which is actually civil engineering, right? So we don't mean engineering as a, like what is taught in classes. I mean engineering from the perspective of seeing a fundamental problem and applying first principles to solve them. The second one is we are innovators. We are never derivators. In OYO, there are very limited things that you can see and say, hey, this is like that one of the US, like never. We are proud to say that we are among those few Indian companies which has more than 40 copycats outside of India, not just within India. Of course, the third thing that we are very passionate about is how many of you have been to Bombay? Mumbai, okay. Sizable group. Mumbai is not kind to people who have less than 2,000 rupees a night, who are going there for the first time, and you don't have relatives. It's not kind. We aspire to make Mumbai kind when people go to Bombay with less than 2,000 rupees in their pocket. And that is the kind of social infrastructural change that we want to create, that you go to we want to create great living spaces for people in any location, in any price across the country.